Every year without fail, Hollywood and other foreign markets bring unforgettable cinematic experiences to the masses, feeding our senses with creativity, imagination, and in rare instances, the impossible. In many cases, we're spoiled when it comes to live-action offerings. But what about animation? Today, we're looking back on 2011, the year Rebecca Black opened a musical Pandora's box with her cringeworthy single, Friday. Björk gave the world the gift of her ethereal and atmospheric album, Biophilia, and nearly every object on the planet became a platform for the planking craze. Looking back, there are several wild pop culture milestones to mark the year Game of Thrones became the talk of every water cooler in the world. Still, today, we're setting our sights on the greatest animated films of 2011, with a top 5 list that's sure to make you feel nostalgic and appreciative of the leaps we've made in the cinematic art form since then. Number 5. From Up on Poppy Hill. When most people think about Studio Ghibli and its founder, Hayao Miyazaki, they think of epic fantasy films like My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, and Spirited Away. Still, throughout the studio's history, they've released quieter, more sentimental films like The Wind Rises and When Marnie Was There. Today, we're honoring another of Ghibli's more dramatic features with a look back from Up on Poppy Hill, a gentle, sweet animated film steeped in real-world history, budding romance, and a love letter to the human spirit. Directed by Goro Miyazaki and co-written by Hayao Miyazaki and Keiko Niwa, based on the manga by Tetsuro Sayama, From Up on Poppy Hill tells the story of two teens, Umi Matsuzaki and Shun Kazama, who, together with a group of like-minded teenagers, look to save their school's clubhouse from demolition in preparations for the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. Serving as a cultural reflection of post-war Japan's generational transition and the insurmountable task of healing from war while preserving the memory of those who marched into battle. From Up on Poppy Hill is a reminder that while the past informs the future, it's essential to move on and surrender tomorrow to those who shape the world long after we're gone. From Up on Poppy Hill isn't Ghibli's most exciting film. Still, it carries a sentimentality I find endearing, and the spark between Umi and Shun reminds me of how love and friendship can grow through humanitarianism and belief in a cause. It's a lovely film that shows how versatile Studio Ghibli is in telling impactful stories, and it could inspire you to do something amazing with the time you have left. Number 4. A Letter to Momo. Losing a loved one is never easy, but losing them at the tender age of 11 is a whole other degree of devastation. When Momo loses her father, Kazu, an unfinished letter from him, along with a picture book about goblins and yokai, marks the beginning of Momo's bizarre friendship with 3 spirits, Kawa, Mame, and their leader, Aiwa. Looking for a change of scenery, Momo and her mother, Aikuko, move to Tokyo to the Seto Inland Sea, where they attempt to build a new life. Kazu's death has strained their relationship, and the fact that Momo is hearing strange noises around their new home is not helping. When a near-fatal asthma attack befalls her mother, Momo and her friend Koichi find themselves in a race against time to find a doctor while also making discoveries about Kazu's mysterious letter to Momo. Exploring the pain of loss through animation is nothing new. Still, A Letter to Momo takes the grieving process to new territory by letting her unique relationship with 3 misfit gods become her stepping stones toward healing from the onset of her suffering. Running rampant with personality, this beautifully animated film combines real-world emotional trauma with outrageous antics, whimsy, and a sense of adventure. No one should have to navigate loss alone, and finding comfort in others is often a way to heal, so long as both parties are willing and able to offer their hearts. A Letter to Momo is an emotional roller coaster that often gives you a reason to smile and remember that grief is a universal emotion. Do your best to embrace those who share the loss, or you could end up alone on the other side of a chasm that's more difficult to cross with each passing day. Number 3. Children Who Chase Lost Voices. Making his way back onto my best of lists is one of my favorite Japanese filmmakers, Makoto Shinkai, with one of his most ambitious films, Children Who Chase Lost Voices. Considered one of anime's most essential films, Shinkai's coming-of-age drama offers another look at the afterlife and those unable to accept that people they love have passed on. In the film, a young girl named Asuna spends her time listening to the mysterious music emanating from the cat's whisker receiver that her father gave her as a keepsake. One day, Asuna is attacked by a strange creature, then saved by a mysterious young man named Shun. Shun tells Asuna he's from Agartha, which we later discover is the land of the dead. When Shun suddenly dies, Asuna enlists the aid of her substitute teacher, Mr. Murasaki, who has a curious connection to Agartha, to search for Shun in the Forbidden Land. Together, with the help of Shun's brother Shin, the trio navigates Agartha in an attempt to achieve peace in the face of loss. Much like Shinkai's other films, Children Who Chase Lost Voices is breathtaking to look at. The animation glows with sun-drenched lighting against the film's dour themes. Despite venturing into dark territory, Lost Voices urges audiences to view death as a new beginning, rather than an eternal end. Throughout Asuna and Mr. Murasaki's odyssey, the duo must confront the darkness encroaching on their souls if they're to make the most of the life waiting for them outside of Agartha. With a thrilling score, characters worth cheering for, and valuable life lessons acting as a salve for a broken heart, Children Who Chase Lost Voices urges audiences to get lost in a fantasy epic that straddles two worlds for one unforgettable adventure. Number 2. The Adventures of Tintin. I'll never understand the ambiguity or outright hate for Steven Spielberg's The Adventures of Tintin. Written by the triple threat of Stephen Moffat, Edgar Wright, and Joe Cornish, Spielberg's first foray into feature-length animation is a rollicking adventure that brings Hergé's classic characters to life with stunning animation, non-stop action, and a mystery that feels true to the original series and then some. In The Adventures of Tintin, the intrepid reporter, Tintin, his wire fox terrier, Snowy, and Captain Haddock set off on a treasure hunt for a sunken ship commanded by Haddock's ancestor. Created with a deep and abiding respect for Hergé's creations, Spielberg's film is an underappreciated gem of animation that ventures close to the uncanny valley. Several A-list filmmakers helped bring The Adventures of Tintin to life, including Peter Jackson, Guillermo del Toro, Stephen Daldry, and David Fincher. However, they mostly acted as advisors on the ambitiously animated project. Spielberg and his team worked tirelessly to achieve the right look for Tintin, even going so far as to invent new ray tracing tech to address some of the presentation's more challenging visual effects. Some people say Tintin is a fugly interpretation of Hergé's world, but lest we forget the horrors of the Polar Express and Beowulf. I maintain that Tintin is a brilliant and successful experiment from one of history's greatest filmmakers that deserves a sequel more than most Disney and Pixar movies we've been force-fed since 2011. Number 1. Rango. By far the best and most under-discussed animated film of 2011 is Gore Verbinski's Rango, a fish-out-of-water western starring the voices of Johnny Depp, Isla Fisher, Abigail Breslin, and more. that only gets better with age. In Rango, an anthropomorphic pet chameleon with a flair for the stage mistakenly finds himself in the town of Dirt, an outpost in the Mojave Desert that's in desperate need of a new sheriff. With animation and visual effects outsourced to Industrial Light and Magic, Rango is a visual feast packed with personality, thanks to the film's talented cast and its inventive take on the Western genre. In addition to telling its own engaging story, Rango pays tribute to a fistful of features from across cinema, including Chinatown, Raising Arizona, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Once Upon a Time in the West, and many more. It deserves more focus today because, despite the film's winning Best Animated Film at the Oscars, you rarely hear anyone mention Rango's impact on the industry or its ambitious production style. To create reference material for Rango, the cast acted out the entire film, complete with makeshift sets and costumes. The animators used the live-action version to recreate the events in animation, with the actors' expressive performances fully intact. Overall, Rango is a smart, savvy, and stunningly animated tale of how an outsider can inspire a community of the downtrodden to rise and reclaim their land. There you have it, folks. What do you think about our top 5 animated films of 2011 list? Are your favorite films represented here? Are there any grievous omissions? Leave a comment and let us know what your top 5 animated films of 2011 are. Until next time, cheers.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support. Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. We're an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.